Del Sordo, and welcome to today's Talk with Erika. I have a fantastic woman with me today. You're going to love this episode. Please remember to subscribe to today's Talk with Erika on, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and YouTube. We're on Spotify as well. I have Sarah Wheeler with me. She's phenomenal. Let me tell you about this woman. She's rolling her eyes over here. She is a phenomenal woman. She's been with the Columbia County Sheriff's Department for 20 years and going on 21. She has done some amazing things, and she is spoken so highly of in this community. This is why I wanted to speak with her on today's Talk with Erika. She's got some amazing things she's done in the past and more stuff coming up. Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you very much for having me.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. So when is 21 years?
21 years is May 25th.
Ooh, big bash, huh?
Yeah.
I like it. So we were discussing a little bit about, the Chamber of Commerce, first of all, has awarded you the Citizen of the Year.
They did.
They did. Well, you're awesome. You're just awesome.
I'm just me.
Well, and one of the things I know you wanted to discuss was you love this community. I love this community, and I'm brand new here, and that's what we have in common. That's what I want to share with everybody, is that we have an amazing community. Lake City is more than just a stop off of I-75.
Correct.
We have an amazing community here, and that's what I want to share. So let's talk about, real quickly, some of the first stuff you've ever done. We were discussing Fins and Pins, and how long ago were these?
Fins and Pins started 11 years ago. It's a fundraiser for the Florida Sheriff's Youth Ranches. We've done the law enforcement torch run for Special Olympics, and then just various things throughout the community. Fundraisers whenever different people are ill, or there's a need, from a house burning to needing items for Christmas for their children.
That's really wonderful. How much money what's the most you've ever raised for the community?
The most I've ever raised for a fundraising project would be Fins and Pins. We raised $46,000 last year,
wow.
And that was our 10th year. So that was exciting for us, because the very first year we only raised $7,000.
Oh, wow.
So it shows how much it's grown, and the popularity and people buying into the youth ranch, because having a fundraiser for us is more about raising awareness for the ranch than it is actually the money. I mean, that helps, but overall, you want people to know what the youth ranch is about. And then the other is a cake auction for a police officer that was battling cancer, and we raised almost $29,000 in cakes and homemade items for her last year.
Wow, that's really special. That's really sweet.
It's very special. And hers was even more special because I didn't even know her. I knew who she was, but she wasn't a friend. She was just someone that I saw her name across my desk, and someone that I work with actually called me, and he's like, it's time for us to step up and help her. Like, if there's one person we need to help, it's her. And in 3 weeks, we had it planned going, and we raised that for her to help her pay her bills and take care of herself.
And they knew to come to the right person, because what I just learned is that if you need to have a fundraiser, you go to Sarah Wheeler, because she's going to raise thousands of dollars for you.
It's just, I believe
That's
in
incredible.
Columbia County and helping your neighbor. One of the things I say on Facebook is, whenever I finish something, is love thy neighbor, because you want to be treated how others be treated. So that's my thing.
That's wonderful. Not a lot of people, many do. I hate to say no one else does, but not a lot of people have that same mentality who, we love the community, yes, but not a lot of people are going above and beyond, and that's exactly what you're doing.
And it's the same people in our community pretty much. I have a circle, and I'm thankful for that, because if it wasn't for that circle of people that I can call and ask for help, or they see it on my Facebook, it's not Sarah Wheeler doing something by herself. It's a community. It's a group of people. It's teamwork. It's not one person. It's a group of people that always come together. And that's Columbia County and Lake City to me. I've always said that if you can't find help in Lake City, then you're not asking the correct person, because there's so many resources and people that are willing to help, that are blessed.
That's absolutely true. You are a member of Altrusa.
I am.
Talk to me a little bit about what that group does.
Altrusa is a civic organization. It's basically, it is all females, but it's some of the biggest names in Columbia County as far as ladies in business and past educators, judges, just average people, because I consider myself very average. But the reason I got into that is one of our lieutenant's wife asked me to join. She's active in it because of my service into the community. And whenever my first meeting, it was they were collecting hygiene items for homeless children in our community.
Wow.
And I dove right off into that. And another thing is I couldn't do the things I do if it wasn't for my coworkers, because they'll organize, divide things up, like make sure to see what we have and what we need. But we took 3 truckloads just from the sheriff's office where people brought stuff in to the Columbia County School Board office for the homeless children, which is Dana Huggins is over that project, and Joyce Bradley, and they it was great. I mean,
That's really awesome.
It really was.
You're lucky you have the Columbia County Sheriff's Department behind you. It's wonderful that you work here because they're an integral
that's my
part of helping.
vantage point is being here as long as I have, and I have lived in Columbia County my whole life, is that working at the sheriff's office, oftentimes you see the best in a situation, but you also see the worst in the situation.
Correct.
And lots of times the deputies will call me and they're like, we're out with so-and-so, or we're out with this kind of situation. Is there anybody you can ask? And like I mentioned before, there's a circle of people that I can call and say, hey, the deputy just doesn't feel right leaving, this stranded motorist on the side of the road till their family can get here from wherever. And these people are putting people up in hotels and they're, buying them food.
That's really nice.
It is nice. And
Wow.
I think Columbia County is one of the greatest places. I mean, because I was raised here, of course, but it is. I'm not trying to overkill it, but we do have some of the best people because it is small. It's big enough where you have privacy, but it's also small enough where people know each other and they associate you with different things.
Just going to say that too. The vantage point here is that it is small. It's not huge, and so you've got what you just explained.
Right.
You have these deputies who are out there who can really help, and they know half the community, I'm sure.
Well, that was one of the to go back to Altrusa, is this past year we did a project called Share a Pair that I came up with, and it was with Jen Lassier.
I love that.
And we collected shoes, and my personal goal was 150 pair, and then we had a drive-through gathering, and we collected shoes there. We ended up with over 500 pairs of shoes and 2,000 pairs of socks that'll go to the youth in Columbia County. So whenever now a school resource deputy calls and says, we have an 8-year-old boy that has no shoes, that school resource officer has a closet with shoes in it, or we have them here where they can come get them and get that child's shoes, because we've had it where kids have come to school with duct tape on their shoes, or, they basically molded the shoes themselves. So just like us, when we get our hair done, or you get a new pair of shoes, or you get a new handbag, I mean, that makes you feel good and confident when you're walking in somewhere.
So true.
If a child has clean shoes, that makes them feel better about their life. And the same thing with hygiene products. There's things that we take for granted, like deodorant or shampoo, because we're just buying what we want because we can afford it. Not everybody can afford things, and it's little things like that can make a difference.
People don't know that there are children who don't have a lunch sometimes. They don't have shoes. A lot of people don't know that. They don't think that's not in my backyard. It is.
It is, and people don't know about it unless some people have to put a face on a situation, where not every situation has to have a name attached to it. There's just a child that's in need.
Right.
Because not every parent is sorry just because their child needs a pair of shoes. I mean, we live in a crazy time where people just can't afford to, buy certain things for their children.
Right.
And that doesn't make them a bad person. Just like there's certain times that a man may need a pair of work boots, because you don't want to fault him because he can't afford a pair of work boots.
Right.
I mean, provide for him, and then he can make a living for his family. So
it's a great way to look at it.
Shouldn't be considered as a hand out to people, but a hand up, because you're trying to build them up to be a better person. So that's how I try to look at things, is not necessarily looking down on somebody. You should always look at, like, well, what can this fundraiser do to better this person's life? What will this food basket do to make this child's Christmas better?
Right.
What if I buy a gingerbread kit to add to that Christmas box that you're giving at Christmas? You may have just built a new tradition for that family that they never had before, which building a gingerbread house may be something common for you, but not for that child that the parent never had an extra $10 to buy that kit at Walmart.
Right.
So
Right. So anyone watching or listening, they don't know, like, if someone wants to help and they're thinking, wow, Easter's coming up even. I don't know if you have anything happening soon, but if someone wants to help, how do they find out about these fundraisers that you're doing?
pretty much everything I do, I just post on my Facebook page, which my name is Sarah Wheeler. And
So Sarah, and I'll have that up so you can see it.
But nothing's, I mean, usually even teachers will contact me asking for things. And so I just try. I rarely tell anybody no. Occasionally I do. I have to figure out a lot of times if it's a want or if it's a need, because there's a difference in a want and a need. Mm-hmm. So, but no child would ever do without if I had my way. So, and I try to do that. And it's just, I grew up here. My dad was a deputy for 28 years. So growing up,
wow.
I saw a lot of him coming home, getting food, taking it back to people, because back in those days, in the 80s, there wasn't 24-hour restaurants and things. So he would come and get food and take it back, and my mom would prepare food and, you know, do the same thing. And
now we understand where your heart is.
Right. It's from my parents. They're very, you know, giving people, and my parents have always taught us that the most expensive thing you can give somebody is your time, because that's your time and you could be spending it doing something else. So I can't afford to, you know, pay $500 for a cake like somebody else can, but I do have time to organize fundraisers and do things like that.
Right.
So that's important to me.
Your parents sound like they were pretty amazing people.
My mom is still with us, but my dad did die in 2003 of cancer, but they are amazing people.
That's
and I am
awesome.
thankful that God chose them to be my parents.
Yes, and that's why we're blessed with you and everything you're doing for the community.
I'm very lucky.
You're very lucky.
My mom gets voluntold, is what I call it. She, pretty much anytime I do something, she's right there with me, as far as picking up cakes for me, making sure that my Excel spreadsheets match up.
Oh, that's wonderful.
She helps with fins and pins every year, and she's getting older, but she still gets voluntold, and she handles it like a champ.
I love that. She sounds like an amazing person as well, and this explains you. You're an amazing person. You said you're an average person. You are. We all are, but you're doing extraordinary things. That's what's amazing. What's the next thing on the list? What's the next fundraiser?
The next fundraiser would be Fins and Pins, which is April 23rd this year at the...
My birthday again.
Well, happy birthday.
So many things happening on April 23rd.
Yeah, you have a Hooked on
Heroes event as
fishing
well.
tournament, and the Swanee River Breast Cancer has their fishing tournament that day at Sandy Point.
I have a lot of places to be.
But that just shows that there can be multiple things going on at the same time in our county, because people are so passionate about giving that several things can be going on and you can support all of it. But it's April 23rd. It's at the fairgrounds. It starts at Lake City Bowl. It is a bowl-a-thon, and our event's kind of unique because each team is assigned a rancher from the Boys Ranch out of Live Oak, and that gives the child an opportunity to interact with our donors, and they get to tell their story to the donor of what it's like to live at the ranch. And then we move from the bowling alley across the street to now the Gateway Fairgrounds to the entertainment building for a free mullet and catfish dinner. And there we have silent auction items, live auction items, and cakes that we auction off. So, and all that money goes to the ranch. And it is kind of neat because the children have a table too, and it's hand-carved things that they make in craft class. And then they always bring an item that is auctioned off, and it's usually a swing that they build there on campus, and the kids that build it are the ones up there while the auctioneer is auctioning it off. So that's exciting that the kids, and they love coming to our event because they do get to interact, and it's neat because I meet new ones. And so whenever we take them Christmas or I go to open house or their awards, they feel connected, like, because their parents aren't necessarily there because they're foster kids in that program,
Right.
that they have somebody on their team
Right.
cheering them on whenever they get an academic award or something. So
Wow.
it's important to me.
So, yeah, it's very important. It should be important to everyone. And it's April 23rd.
Yes, ma'am.
Are there any more open spots for anyone?
There's 2 spots left for bowling at 3:00, and then, of course, there's always time for sponsorship because we take money up until the day of.
Very nice.
So, but it's something that we've worked hard on. I think I said previously, the first year we raised $7,000. So this past year we raised 46. So between it all, we've raised over $250,000 for the ranch on that fundraiser, and it means a lot to me because it's something that myself and 3 other ladies that participated in a Guardian ad litem bowl-a-thon, and so we got the idea from there, and it's just grown, and it's neat that it's been going on that long.
That is
because
wonderful.
our fundraiser actually compares to some of the large sheriff's offices throughout the state as far as what they raise, and we're a small North Florida rural county. So
That's wonderful. And what I'd love to show this video to maybe some of the children don't know where their funding is coming from. And I know the adults obviously know that you're, raising funds and there's a fundraiser, but do they know? And I think that's something the children need to know.
right, the vice president for the ranch, Maria Knapp, that's why she likes our fundraiser. Plus, she lives in Columbia County, so she's all for it. But she tells the kids that's why she likes that the bowling that is one child for 3 adults, so they can have a chance to share their story and see that this is American Pawn and they are a presenting sponsor. Or this is Carmichael Rickerson, they are a presenting sponsor. Or
Okay, good.
Busy Bee, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So they interact with those people that own that business that continues to give into the program.
Closely. Good.
Right, because most of our presenting sponsors are the same people each year. So
Right.
they've bought into the youth ranch. They've bought into the sheriff's office as far as supporting something that they believe in.
Right.
So that's important to me because a lot of the presenting sponsors bowl also. So it's not just, somebody writing a check. And,
Right.
Which we're thankful for all donations if they write a check or, if they're there. But
Right, but it's nice when they
whenever
interact.
and they see the children. And, some of those same businesses I mentioned are the ones at Christmas when I post on Facebook that there's 32 kids at the ranch that aren't getting to go home for Christmas because they simply don't have a home to go home to because they're part of the foster program.
Wow.
Those are the same people that stepping up to make sure that they're getting what they need to, it's nice, a $50 gift card, but whenever you get a present that says Erika on it and it's got a pretty bow and paper that matches and it's got, in a box with all these other presents,
Yep.
that makes you feel better. And there are donors that just send the ranch a certain amount of things for each child, and it's handed out. Well, we come in with a trailer full of, bicycles, and some of the kids
Wow.
make wish lists, and we try to make those dreams come true.
Wow.
So, and there's so many good people in our community. One of the other things I get to do is there's 2 businessmen here in Lake City, and there's one that doesn't even live in Columbia County, and they let me pick 2 families every year at Christmas, and we take the parents shopping, and they basically get whatever they want. They don't want them to make a wish list. They want the parents to interact with them, go in and see if
That's awesome.
the child wants, Etch-a-Sketch or the latest Barbie doll. They want them to put their hands on it. It's probably the sweetest thing beats other things because whenever you're at the register, the man asks, he says, do y'all have a tree? If they say no, he goes and gets tree,
we need a
ornaments,
tree.
stockings,
That is
tape,
amazing.
everything.
Wow.
He makes sure the parents get something. He usually makes sure that there's some kind of small appliance like a vacuum cleaner, a microwave, Instapot. If they don't have something in their home that
He's
they
thought
need.
of everything.
Right. They get everything, and then he has a certain amount in his mind. I never know that amount. And when we get to the register, he's like, okay, I want the card for $122 extra because they didn't meet the amount. And he says, here's your money for you to finish up Christmas shopping, or you can use it for gas or for food. So it's just things like that. It all comes together. So it's something I look forward to, because about October, he starts telling me to pick a family. So I try to bounce through the schools to our school resource deputies, because they interact with the kids and they may know who needs something more than the next kid. But I'm very fortunate that, like I said, I see the worst and the best in Columbia County.
Yeah.
But I'm in a position that Sheriff Hunter allows me to give back to our community my time. So I'm grateful for that too.
That's amazing. You're such an amazing person. And that gentleman that you were talking about, they want to stay anonymous? You're not going to...
No, they want to stay anonymous. Yeah. But it's kind of neat, because he has a vacation home, and he tells his friend that has a vacation home by him that's in a whole different area code of Florida, that what he's doing. And the past 2 years, this gentleman has drove up and went shopping with us, and he interacts just like he's from Lake City. So
that is amazing.
It means a lot. So
it does. Not a lot of people would do what you're doing, and that's phenomenal. So thank you from the bottom of my heart and the rest of Columbia County.
So it's just my heart, I guess. There's no other way to put it.
I think that's wonderful, but that's just it. Many people have a good heart. It's not that they don't, but you take it above and beyond, and that's what makes you superior for this area. You're just, Citizen of the Year all the time.
Well, thank you.
And remember, you can find all the fundraisers, everything that we discussed, go to @SarahWheeler on Facebook.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's sufficient enough. I guess they can just go to your Facebook page and find things out. I always have everything in the info sections on the audio podcasts and YouTube. You can just look in the info section for any other websites we might have on there. Did you want to add anything else?
Just thank you, and I appreciate it. And I do love Columbia County and the businesses. And that's another thing that I'm big on, is sharing local businesses, because they're the heartbeat of our community, and that's what, makes us thrive. Those kids, when you're at a ball game or there is an event and you see their name on a banner or the back of the shirt, those are the businesses we should support, because they're the businesses that continually support us. So I'm big on that.
That's absolutely right. That's wonderful. You heard it first here from Sarah Wheeler.
Thank you, Erika.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you for listening to Today's Talk with Erika. Join us next week for a brand new show. Please subscribe to all of Erika's audio and video platforms. And remember to visit todaystalkwitherika.com for all show content, blogs, social media channels, and more. Hey, thanks for listening and watching.